Hey guys, welcome back for another episode. This is me and Tomo hanging out in Philippines.
Woo!
Exactly.
Good morning.
Good morning. So we are on our way to do a speech at a youth camp, and we're here for a 3-day event. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. Me and Tomo have decided to, we were talking about this morning. We just had beautiful breakfast. And it's the Philippines, so there's a lot of fruit juices. But today we're going to talk about the Huntsman Winter's War.
The Huntsman.
The Huntsman. I'm glad somebody's laughing because one of our friends saw it with us. And the reason for doing this is me and Tomo have a background in entertainment and film. Tomo, that's how we met each other. We were on the same movie set together. Tomo does a lot of film and commercials in Tokyo. I like to do kind of more acting. But we love movies and entertainment in all forms. We were watching a few movies last night, getting kind of in-depth analysis about it, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, we should definitely comment on those at a different one. But today we're going to talk about Winter's War. We saw this yesterday at the main movie theater in the Philippines.
Which is an interesting
That's a very interesting experience, man. We'll talk about that another time. Let's get into the movie.
Okay.
So, Tomo, first analysis. What did you think overall? And by the way, spoiler alert. We are going to talk about spoilers. I don't understand the reason for having a critical thing without giving away too much. So, spoiler alert, everybody. Okay? So, Tomo, I'll let you take it away. What did you first thoughts?
Definitely, there's lots of budget in this film. There's some good actors. Some are better than others. There was, the scene that we were talking about with the black kid.
There was a really... I got scared. There's a one scene in particular. So the basis of this movie is it's a derivative of Snow White, right?
Yeah.
It's Snow White. And the only reason they're making this movie is to kind of capitalize on, I think it's a Chris Hemsworth popularity. So originally the girl from Twilight played Snow White like 5 years ago, and I'm not sure if it did that well. Charlize Theron was the main queen, and of course if you know the story of Snow White, Snow White becomes the new queen. The old evil queen dies, and this is like a prequel and a sequel at the same time. And the only reason they're doing it is they're focusing on Chris Hemsworth because during this time he's now playing in the Avengers, and they're trying to kind of capitalize on him as an actor, and that's kind of like you definitely get that feel.
Right.
I honestly didn't see the original Snow White that movie, but you can really know that they don't even show the last cast. They're really focusing on him and kind of the beauty, right? The glamour actresses. Charlize Theron, Emily Blunt, Chris Hemsworth, and nothing against them. They're all great actors and actresses. But you just kind of get that feel for the formulaic movie. So the first part is where the queen, Emily Blunt is the other sister who's now like the Frozen queen. It's like, who is this? This is the men's version of Frozen, where it's like she has ice powers. I was waiting for her to sing "Let It Go" for a second,
Yeah.
But there's a moment where, she agrees that, no love in my kingdom, no love in my kingdom. So she starts gathering all the children in her kingdom, and she's going to train them to be her secret army, the Huntsman. And there's this scene that I think you and I were a little like, oh, I hope they don't do this.
No,
don't do this. So it was a weird... Tell me, you want to explain?
No, it's just funny because there was one black kid and everyone else was white, but the queen grabs the black kid's face, and we were hoping that she doesn't kill him, right?
Yeah, I was really scared that out of this whole, it's like imagine the king in this castle. There's the throne room, and all the kids are there, and there's like one black kid, and she walks up to him and grabs him by the head, and I was like, oh my god. Don't tell me she's gonna like kill off the only black kid in this whole movie. That would be like worst. I can already see like this could be like the worst way to start a movie ever. But luckily she does it. She just kind of grabs him, just like, you shall never love. You shall, stricken from your hearts. Be cold as winter. Type of thing. And it kind of goes on to there where it flashes forward to then them training, and now they're all grown up, and they're the Huntsman. They're these amazing people who can do incredible feats with bows, arrows, swords, and they're kind of like just the warriors of that realm, right? And Chris Hemsworth and this other huntswoman get married in secret, and Emily Blunt finds out, the Ice Queen, and is like, oh, hell no! And
it ain't happening. Yeah, it's I thought you were going to say something. I just wanted to
That's okay. Go for it. And?
Yeah. So then she obviously tried to stop them, basically cock-blocking them.
Yeah, pretty much a cock-block. It was a cock-blocking situation where she made them see what, like they didn't want to see. She faked her death, and then she also made it look like she used her powers to manipulate their minds, basically. So then all of a sudden it flashes forward 7 years out of nowhere, and I guess during that time is the Snow White movie that was the first movie. So that's why it's a prequel and a sequel. So you got the prequel, and then all of a sudden it's 7 years later, and during that time I guess the first movie would play a part, and then it's the sequel. Now, let's get into it, because I know we've been talking about the things we wanted to like... Well, you know what, fuck it, we won't give away the ending, but let's talk about the things that were like, what are we talking about? Two major points. Accents.
Yes.
The accents were atrocious. And, I get it. Accents are hard.
They are hard.
They are hard to do. But right from the get-go, first off, everybody in this thing had an English accent, right?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you had the Huntsman, and right when you hear them speak, you're like, oh no. Oh no, they have Scottish accents. Out of nowhere. You have Chris Hemsworth, hey, there'll be the times where we go, and you're like, oh, please don't,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
And, the guy's a great actor. I enjoy him.
Uh-huh.
I know he can do good work, but, Scottish accents is not his forte.
Yeah, it's hard. It's very hard. I mean, and sometimes I feel like his voice tones were different. I mean, obviously with the acting,
yeah.
But just in general, sometimes it was harder to understand than other times. You know what I'm saying? So,
well, we were also in the Philippines, right?
Yeah.
Where people speak English, of course, but I feel like it's a different dialect a lot of the times, and there's so many different dialects here. And I was wondering, dude, if we're having a hard time knowing what they're saying on screen, I can't imagine how the audience is feeling.
Right.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. The other thing was the sisters, the evil queens. When they spoke, I know they're trying to be serious, but it was like this, everybody speaks in an evil whisper the whole time. Sister, you will never become as evil as me. It's like, why don't they just have a normal conversation? Being evil doesn't mean you speak at a mile a minute.
Yeah. It was really funny.
What else did some things that maybe you realized that I didn't?
I mean, some parts were just cheesy,
Yeah.
and also some parts were cheesy. There were lots of making out, which I was surprised because it was a PG.
Well, it's PG in Philippines. I don't know what the rating system.
Parental guidance.
Well, thank you. Parental guidance in the background.
Yeah, and then as you know, it's like someone dies but didn't die, and that happened.
Yeah, there's a lot of we thought he was dead. He's not dead. It's a fake out. It's another fake out. Triple fake out. And just kind of the plot, the way it's cut. It was very, for me, formulaic. It was very formulaic. It was a cut and dry. We know what works in Hollywood. We know we're going to add all this special effects. We're going to add big names. We're going to polish it off. But there's just kind of the product, the finished product itself. The CGI was great. I honestly thought it was a great job with the CGI. But the product itself, the storyline, made no freaking sense. There were times where, these two, I will kill you, I will kill you. Well, we better go save the kingdom. And it's kind of in my mind, what? Why? This girl was about to kill the guy, and all of a sudden they're joining them on the quest. And it makes no sense. There's no reason for her to be there, except to it's a very forced, push the plot along. It's kind of dangling keys in front of a kid. Just follow it along. And even I think Tomo a few times turned to me thinking do you know what's going on? I was just I don't fucking care anymore, man. Let's just watch the beautiful people in the CGI. That's kind of all we could get right now. Let's wrap it up. Tomo, final thoughts. Winter's War. What do you think?
I mean, I wouldn't watch it again. But like I said, some people they did some great acting and